The Detroit Resource Recovery Plant. Once it was a concept, a vision of a way to deal with the mounting problem of trash disposal. During the past 10 years, this idea has evolved from thoughts to plans to hearings to ceremonies to construction. And today, we look forward to full operation of the largest, most efficient waste-to-energy facility in the nation. City of Detroit Finance Director Bella Marshall, chairperson of the Greater Detroit Resource Recovery Authority, says the facility is the culmination of more than a decade of work.
It's been now well over 10 years of very careful planning by a number of people. Obviously, city government, the mayor and city council, the Wayne County Solid Waste Management Plan, and a group of expert consultants and technicians.
In the 1970s, the city administration recognized the need for a new way to deal with the mountains of solid waste being generated by municipalities. Existing landfills were already filling up, and most communities didn't want to be the sites for new landfills. Incineration was studied as an alternative. When it was learned that state-of-the-art plants not only could help dispose of trash in a safe and environmentally sound manner, but could also generate electricity and result in jobs for area residents, the city decided to pursue that option. Today, the exterior of the main building, the boiler building, is close to being finished. Construction is underway on the processing building. For Mike Brinker, general manager of the Greater Detroit Resource Recovery Authority, construction is progressing according to schedule, forging a link between the visions of yesterday and the promise of tomorrow.
I can recall this site when it was really a barren field. The site was first purchased and cleared in summer of 1977. I've watched this field that was available for the construction of the resource recovery facility for a period of several years, and construction was initiated in May of 1986, and I do try and make weekly visits to observe the progress, and I think weekly visits do not do justice to the progress of the construction. One almost has to watch it daily. We're at about the two-thirds completion point. We started construction in May of 1986 from a initial workforce of one major contractor doing the piling work. The first upright column was in place in October of 1986. We expect testing of components to be initiated in September, October of this year, full performance testing in the early spring of 1989, and commercial operation by May of 1989.
When the plant begins operation, it will give Detroit the most sophisticated and innovative means of dealing with solid waste of any city in the country. Detroit generates more than 3,000 tons of solid waste every day, and the new facility will allow us to reduce the volume of waste by burning some of it, recycling the ferrous metals, and landfilling the non-combustible materials. The burning will generate steam, which will be sold to Detroit Edison for use in heating downtown buildings. Currently, approximately 750 construction workers are at the site daily, aiming for the startup of the operation next spring. Once the plant is online, about 75 supervisors, technicians, operators, administrative and clerical staff will be employed at the plant. The supervisors and operators are going to be among the first hired. They will be going through an extensive training program, including more than 400 hours of coursework on the power plant and waste processing operations. The lengthy training is necessary because the Detroit facility is the most advanced facility of its kind in the world. The plant will have equipment designed to allow some recycling, as well as making sure the waste is burned as safely and efficiently as technologically possible. The waste will be brought into the processing plant, where it will be fed onto conveyors, inspected, and large non-combustible items removed. The conveyors then will move the waste into shredders, which reduce it to 6 to 12-inch particles. At this point, screens are used to filter out glass, rock, and other non-combustible materials. And a magnetic separator removes metal from the refuse. Ferrous metals extracted from the trash will be recycled whenever possible. The remaining waste is now known as refuse-derived fuel, or RDF. What you're looking at now is RDF. It is shredded a second time and fed into the fuel storage room. When it is needed, it goes into the boilers to be burned. The boilers produce steam, some of which will be pumped through a pipeline, now under construction, to 2 nearby Detroit Edison facilities. Tunnels are now being dug, which will contain the pipes to move the steam from the resource recovery plant to Edison. These tubes, now under construction inside the boiler building, also will produce steam to be used to drive turbines to produce electricity. The electricity will supply power for the operation of the resource recovery plant, and some of it will be sold to Edison. The ash resulting from incineration and the non-combustibles removed from the trash earlier will be hauled off to landfills. The amount of material going to landfills once the resource recovery facility is in operation will be about 1/4 of what is going to landfills from Detroit today. The Detroit facility will use electrostatic precipitators, or ESPs, to control emissions from the plant. Exhaust gases coming out of the boilers heading through ducts to go out the large stack will go through these ESPs, where particles will be given an electrical charge. The charged particles are then attracted to plates inside the ESPs. Those plates will be cleaned on a regular schedule, and the captured particles will be included in the material trucked to landfills. But no one is going to be sitting around assuming or hoping the ESPs are keeping the air clean. Air quality monitoring has already begun in various locations around the plant, and regular monitoring will continue once the facility is operating. The readings being taken now will allow us to assure the level of air quality remains well within federal air quality guidelines. The Greater Detroit Resource Recovery Facility means lots of good things for the city of Detroit. It means the city disposal costs should not escalate as landfill space becomes more scarce. It means the Resource Recovery Authority should be able to help defray some of the cost of operating the facility by selling steam to Detroit Edison. And it means the city is going to be a model for other communities.
In the national magazines, we're mentioned as they're building a plant in Detroit and everything is going well. In the technological community, in the municipal solid waste community, we're on the cutting edge. We're invited consistently. We turn down invitations to go, to speak, and talk about the facility.
But the new facility isn't just a symbol for the rest of the nation. It is a symbol for the people of the Detroit area. Kurk Kuykendall, general manager of the Detroit plant, hopes the plant becomes a goal for some of the citizens of Detroit.
When I think about this plant and think about the next 5, 10, 15 years, I think about the children of this city and this community. I'd like them to visit the plant. I'd like them to understand what we do here. I'd like them to consider careers in this plant. I see this plant as part of the growth and vitality of Detroit, and I look at this plant as a very, very able and willing participant in that growth and in the future of Detroit.
This plant has received approvals from local, county, state, and federal regulators. The facility has received 9 permits, and the construction and operating permit is the most stringent in the country, with 63 separate conditions. Bella Marshall says the plant will make Detroit a better place for Detroiters.
My mother is here, my sister is here, my brother is here, all of my nieces and nephews. I just bought a house here. I live about 5 minutes from here, and so I'll be in Detroit.
Marshall says the leaders of the city and the investors in the project deserve recognition for making this plant a reality. And she says the people of the city of Detroit deserve a special salute.
The vast majority of the citizens have understood and have been supportive, and that's consistent with Detroiters and with the people in the region, and we have been very happy to have their support. Without them, this facility would not exist.
And this facility does exist. It exists to deal with a problem facing communities across America. It exists as a testament to Detroit's dedication to dealing with its future in a safe and economically sound manner. The Greater Detroit Resource Recovery Authority, making Detroit a better place to live.